Imagine this. On Thursday, you say, "I'm grateful for everything," and on Friday, you sprint shopping.
That contrast always makes me smile nervously. It's like Gratitude Day followed immediately by National Shopping Olympics.
Hey everyone! Welcome back to English Podcast for Listening and Speaking, where we explore real topics through conversation.
I'm Alec, the calm, slightly sarcastic guy who likes numbers, budgets, and watching human behavior on discount days.
And I'm Emily, the emotional one who loves cozy sweaters, big questions, and sometimes gets tempted by shiny sales banners.
Today's topic is Black Friday. Bargains, crowds, and what our shopping habits secretly say about us and our values.
Before we jump into the chaos, remember to like this episode, subscribe, and share it with another English learner.
When you do that, YouTube might recommend this podcast to more people, which honestly helps our little learning community.
Okay, first things first. What actually is Black Friday? Let's explain it clearly for anyone outside the United States.
Black Friday is the Friday after Thanksgiving, when many shops launch huge sales and discounts to start holiday shopping.
So imagine families saying thanks for everything on Thursday, then waking up early to hunt bargains passionately on Friday.
The name has different stories, but one common explanation is about shops finally going into the black.
Right, in the black meaning profitable, not losing money. Their accounts move from red numbers to healthy black numbers.
Another story says police in Philadelphia used Black Friday because the streets were crowded and chaotic after Thanksgiving.
Either way, the image is the same. Streets full of crowds, shops full of noise, wallets sometimes full of regret.
And then there's Cyber Monday, the online cousin, where websites drop prices and people click like crazy at work.
Cyber Monday is basically, oops, you missed the in-store sale. Here, panic. Buy from your laptop instead.
From my perspective, Black Friday and Cyber Monday are like a giant festival of consumerism, both exciting and slightly worrying.
To be honest, I find the psychology fascinating. Why do crowds run for TVs like they're escaping a volcano?
Listener, have you ever watched YouTube clips of people rushing through doors on Black Friday? How did you feel?
You might write later, when I see those crowds, I feel and add shocked, amused, anxious, or maybe secretly excited.
Let's introduce some key vocabulary you'll hear all episode, starting with the simple word sale.
A sale is a special period when shops offer many discounted items, so prices are lower than usual.
For example, this weekend there's a huge sale on laptops, meaning many laptops are cheaper than their normal price.
Discount is both a noun and a verb. Shops discount a product, and the discount is the amount reduced.
You can say, they discounted this phone by 30%, or there's a big discount on winter coats today.
Then we have bargain, a very positive word. A bargain is something that feels like really good value.
For instance, those headphones were a bargain. They sound amazing and cost half the usual price.
A stronger word is steal. If a price is so good it feels almost illegal, you call it a steal.
This jacket was a total steal. Means you paid so little it almost feels like you stole it happily.
On the negative side, we have rip-off. If something costs way too much, you say it's a rip-off.
For example, that so-called Black Friday deal was a rip-off. The price was higher than last month, honestly.
And finally, crowds, or crowded. Crowds are large numbers of people. Crowded describes a space full of too many bodies.
The mall was crowded. Paints the picture of people everywhere. Maybe noisy, stressful, and difficult to move through.
Listener, in your country, do shops offer Black Friday sales now, or is it still mostly an American thing?
You could comment, in my country, Black Friday started in .com and tell us when it became popular or fashionable.
Let's answer discussion question 1 properly. What is Black Friday, and why is it such a big deal culturally?
I'd argue Black Friday is a symbol of consumerism, the culture of constantly buying more to feel successful or satisfied.
But at the same time, it's a moment when people genuinely find bargains that help their budget before the holidays.
It's like two stories happening simultaneously. Smart shoppers planning purchases, and impulsive shoppers grabbing any discounted rubbish.
Haha, I know that feeling. You go out for one thing and come home with 6 random gadgets.
In my experience, advertising creates huge hype. You see limited time only, and suddenly everything feels urgent and essential.
That's where temptation comes in. The sale whispers, "You might never see this price again. Buy it now."
But sometimes that voice is lying. Shops might discount items that weren't selling anyway just to clear old stock.
Or they slightly raise prices earlier, then discount them, so the bargain is actually smaller than it looks.
So here's the kind of sentence you'd use when thinking critically: this discount might not be a genuine bargain.
Or, to be honest, this sale could just be clever marketing, not real generosity from the company.
Listener question: do you usually trust discounts, or do you feel a bit suspicious when you see huge percentages?
You might write, I usually trust sales because, or I don't trust them because, and give your personal reasons.
Let's touch on Cyber Monday again quickly. It focuses more on online deals, especially electronics, fashion, and tech accessories.
For some people, online shopping is more comfortable than crowded stores. You can hunt bargains wearing pajamas at home.
But you miss the live atmosphere: the lines, noise, crowds, and occasionally ridiculous fights over discounted gaming consoles.
Maybe that's good. My nervous system prefers a quiet cup of tea and a calm website checkout page personally.
From a language point of view, notice how often we use opinion starters when we talk about these topics.
Phrases like, from my perspective, in my experience, and, to be honest, help you sound natural and thoughtful.
You can practice by saying something like, from my perspective, Black Friday is more stressful than exciting.
Or, in my experience, online deals are better than in-store bargains, especially when you hate big, noisy crowds.
Another very useful structure for this topic is modal verbs: should, must, could, might, expressing advice and possibility.
For example, people should plan their Black Friday shopping, or you might waste money if you buy without thinking.
Or, shops could be more honest about discounts, and governments might regulate advertising if it becomes too manipulative.
Listener, try forming one sentence. On Black Friday, I might, and finish with save money, overspend, stay home, or just watch.
We'll give you more time later, but writing it down in English really helps fix new words in your memory.
So, to summarize this first section, Black Friday is a giant sale after Thanksgiving, often followed by Cyber Monday online.
It's full of discounts, bargains, steals, and unfortunately sometimes rip-offs, all happening in crowded stores and crowded websites.
It shows our love of shopping, our weakness for consumerism, and our constant battle between rational planning and impulsive desire.
Next, we'll look at how Black Friday appears around the world, and how different countries handle these huge sales.
We'll bring in someone who has experienced Black Friday in the United States and abroad to compare cultures and crowds.
Stay with us, and maybe think about your last big purchase. Was it a real bargain, or just hype? Let's bring in someone who has actually survived American Black Friday crowds and lived to tell stories.
Yes, we're joined today by Jordan, who grew up in the US and now lives abroad.
Hey everyone, happy to be here. I still feel adrenaline just thinking about my first Black Friday.
Okay, now I'm curious. What was your very first Black Friday experience like as a teenager in America?
I remember waking up at 4 a.m., standing in freezing darkness, surrounded by excited, sleepy crowds outside electronics stores.
4 a.m.? My brain refuses to function at that time unless there's coffee or an emergency happening.
Honestly, it felt like a strange festival. People joked in line, but tension rose whenever doors started to open.
So, the store opens, the crowds rush in. Was it fun, terrifying, or just confusing for your sleepy brain?
A mix of everything. Fun because of bargains, terrifying because people pushed, confusing because I suddenly forgot my list.
Haha, classic. Black Friday, where rational shopping lists die and random discounted toasters suddenly feel like spiritual destiny.
Let's connect this to vocabulary. Those early morning lines are classic examples of huge crowds during a big sale.
Exactly. Inside, it quickly became crowded. You could barely move your arms without bumping into 3 different strangers.
Listener, imagine walking through a crowded mall where every shop is having a loud, flashy sale at once.
Jordan, what kind of items do people usually chase? What are the best things discounted on Black Friday?
Traditionally, electronics, TVs, laptops, game consoles. Clothes too, especially winter coats and sneakers, often heavily discounted.
So people feel like they're getting a bargain or even a steal on those big-ticket items.
Yeah, sometimes the prices are genuinely impressive. My first laptop felt like a total steal at that time.
But not everything is amazing, right? Some items are discounted, but not enough to be a true bargain.
Absolutely. Some discounts are tiny. The sign screams, sale, but the actual price difference is almost nothing, honestly.
That's when I start whispering, this feels like marketing hype, not a real bargain, inside my suspicious brain.
Let's compare. In your experience, is American Black Friday more intense than Black Friday in the country you live now?
Definitely more intense in the US. Where I live now, it's still crowded but less chaotic and slightly more polite.
So we could say American Black Friday is louder and crazier, while other places are more controlled and relaxed.
Listener, in your country, is Black Friday more like a gentle discount day or a full-contact shopping sport?
I noticed that abroad, many deals moved online faster, so physical stores are less crowded than American malls.
Online sales are like a quieter version of the same story. Still consumerism, but without dangerous cart collisions, thankfully.
Do shops in your new country offer serious Black Friday discounts now, or is it mostly a marketing copy of America?
It started slowly, mostly online. Now, big chains have physical sales too, but the atmosphere feels less aggressive overall.
When did that become a thing? Around the time social media exploded with unboxing Black Friday haul videos everywhere?
Exactly. Once people saw huge sales abroad, they started expecting similar sales locally. Retailers followed to stay competitive.
Listener, you might comment, in my country, Black Friday became popular around, and add the year or approximate period.
Let's talk about crowds versus online shopping. Jordan, which do you prefer now? Physical bargains or calm online discounts?
Honestly, I prefer online bargains. I'm older, less patient, and more allergic to crowded parking lots and endless queues.
Same here. From my perspective, online shopping is more comfortable, even if the atmosphere isn't as exciting or dramatic.
But in-store shopping has that festival feeling, especially when everyone claps as doors open and people rush dramatically inside.
True. There's an energy you don't get online. But you also don't get bruised ankles from aggressive shopping carts.
Good point. So we can say physical stores are more intense, while online deals are more convenient and usually calmer.
Listener question. Where do you think the best bargains are in your country, online or in the shops? Why exactly?
You might write, in my country, the best Black Friday bargains are usually online because, and complete it naturally.
Or, the best bargains are in shops because maybe you can negotiate or see items in person before buying.
I've noticed that sometimes shops offer special, in-store only deals to drag people away from comfortable couches at home.
And websites offer online exclusive deals, forcing you to check both places unless you want to miss something interesting.
This is how marketing plays with our fear of missing out. We think, what if I miss the steal?
Exactly. Fear of missing a bargain can push people to stand in crowds or refresh websites endlessly.
Let's use a comparative sentence. Black Friday is more exciting but also more stressful than ordinary shopping days.
Or, Cyber Monday is usually more comfortable than Black Friday, but sometimes less exciting because you're just clicking alone.
Another one. My local Black Friday is less extreme than in the US, but still more chaotic than normal sales.
Listener, try your own. Black Friday in my country is more, but less, than in the USA. Using comparatives.
Jordan, can you share one personal story where you felt Black Friday was fun and another where it felt too much?
Fun story first. My friends and I once got matching discounted sneakers. We felt like champions the entire weekend.
Nice. A bargain plus friendship that's like the healthy side of consumer culture, when it's playful and not destructive.
Too much story? I saw two grown adults shouting over the last discounted TV, while their kids looked terrified nearby.
That image makes my chest feel tight. A bargain isn't a bargain if it costs your dignity or your children's safety.
That's a powerful line. We might say, this bargain is too expensive emotionally, even if it's cheap financially.
Exactly. Sometimes the price you pay in stress, crowds, and conflict is higher than the discount you get.
Listener, have you ever felt the emotional cost of crowded sales was higher than the money you actually saved?
You might comment, one time I joined a crowded sale and felt, and add exhausted, anxious, disappointed, or thrilled.
Another interesting angle. Some countries adopted Black Friday mainly online, skipping the physical chaos almost entirely.
Yes, there. People still chase bargains, but the fighting in crowds videos are rare or mostly imported from abroad.
That shows how culture shapes behavior. Same sale concept, but different levels of intensity, politeness, and social boundaries.
We could say, in some cultures, shopping is more aggressive. In others, it remains more controlled and less dramatic overall.
But everywhere, advertising uses similar language. Biggest sale, crazy discounts. Once in a year bargains you simply can't resist.
Those words are powerful. They trigger that little voice, saying, if you miss this, you'll regret it forever.
Listener, have you noticed similar advertising language in your language, or is it mostly in English with dramatic expressions?
You could write, in my country, shops advertise Black Friday using phrases like, and share some local slogans or expressions.
Jordan, after living in different countries, do you think Black Friday is overall a positive tradition or a negative one?
I'd say it's mixed. Positive when people plan and save money, negative when crowds lose control and forget basic respect.
That feels balanced. The event itself isn't evil. It's how we behave inside it that really matters morally.
Exactly. Black Friday can be a tool for smart shopping or a stage for extreme consumerism and unnecessary stress.
Listener, where do you personally fall on that spectrum, more excited bargain hunter or more skeptical, critical observer?
You might comment, for me, Black Friday is mostly, and then write fun, stressful, meaningless, helpful, or deeply conflicting.
Jordan, thanks for painting such a clear picture of crowds, cultures, and the global spread of Black Friday fever.
My pleasure. I hope listeners think about which parts of the tradition they want to copy and which they don't.
Next, we'll talk about whether these bargains are actually real or just clever illusions created by marketing and pricing tricks.
We'll bring in someone who helps people manage money and avoid being ripped off by fake discounts and shiny hype.
Stay with us, because the next section might save you money, frustration, and a few dusty, unused gadgets.
So, we've seen crazy crowds and excited shoppers. Now let's ask a tougher question about these famous discounts.
Yeah, the painful one. Are we really getting bargains on Black Friday or just falling for clever marketing tricks?
To help us answer that, we've invited Lisa, a personal finance blogger who loves exposing fake deals calmly.
Lisa, welcome to English Podcast for Listening and Speaking. I'm already scared to hear how much I've overspent.
Thanks for having me. Don't worry, Emily. Everyone overspends sometimes. I just help people overspend a little less.
Let's start simple. On Black Friday, what makes something a genuine bargain rather than just a loud, colorful discount sign?
For me, a real bargain is a product you actually need at a price clearly lower than usual.
So if I buy a random karaoke microphone I'll never use, that's not a bargain, just emotional chaos.
Exactly. If you wouldn't buy it at full price, the discounted version might still be rubbish for your life.
That's such a powerful idea. A bargain isn't just a low price, it must genuinely add value somehow.
Let's talk about discounts more specifically. How do shops use discounts to make people feel excited and slightly irrational?
They highlight big percentages, like 70% off, without showing that the original price was already inflated beforehand.
So sometimes they raise prices earlier, then discount them, making the bargain look bigger than it really is.
Exactly. If you don't track prices before Black Friday, you might celebrate what is actually a tiny discount cleverly.
That sounds like a classic ripoff in a fancy Black Friday costume, honestly designed to trick our tired brains.
Listener, remember, a ripoff is when you pay far too much or the deal is fundamentally dishonest somehow.
For example, a special sale, where the so-called discount price is the same as last month's regular price.
I'd feel so annoyed. You think you found a steal, but actually the shop just stole your money emotionally.
Lisa, do you think most shoppers are rational on Black Friday or more impulsive and emotionally driven by hype?
I'd say many are impulsive. The combination of countdown timers, crowds, and flashing banners makes rational thinking difficult.
That's where advertising and hype work together. They say, only today, only 3 left, and your heart starts racing.
So here's a useful structure. If I shop while excited and stressed, I'll probably make impulsive, less rational decisions.
Exactly. If you planned your purchases calmly before, you'd be less vulnerable to last-minute, shiny, unnecessary bargains.
Listener, can you relate to that? Have you ever bought something quickly because a timer made you panic buy?
You could comment, I once bought, and describe an item you regret, then explain the pressure you felt emotionally.
Let's compare online and in-store deals. Lisa, Where do you see more genuine bargains overall from your experience?
Online usually offers clearer comparisons. You can check several websites, see price histories, and avoid emotional crowd pressure.
In store, the atmosphere is powerful but also confusing. You see people grabbing things, and social pressure kicks in strongly.
Exactly. When everyone around you is rushing, your brain thinks, I must act fast or I'll miss something amazing.
So online is calmer and more transparent, but in-store might have a few special doorbuster deals that feel unbelievable.
Listener, in your country, do you believe better deals appear online or in physical shops? What's your personal experience?
Another trick is limited time only. Sometimes the discount keeps returning every few weeks, so it's not truly limited.
That drives me crazy. If everything is always on sale, nothing feels like a real bargain anymore, honestly.
Let's demonstrate an opinion sentence. To be honest, some Black Friday sales seem more like psychological games than genuine generosity.
Or, in my experience, real bargains are rare. Many discounts are just marketing strategies designed to move old stock.
Let's throw in a second conditional. If people compared prices before Black Friday, they would recognize many fake bargains instantly.
Another one. If I only bought items from my prepared list, I might save a lot more money.
Exactly. Preparation is like emotional armor. Without it, you're naked in front of giant sale signs whispering sweet lies.
Ha ha, I love that image. Emotional armor versus glittering discounts. I know which one usually wins in my case.
Lisa, what simple steps could listeners take to avoid being ripped off during big sales like Black Friday?
First, make a list of what you genuinely need weeks before. Second, write your budget. Third, check prices in advance.
So if the price drops below your planned number, it's a possible bargain. If not, it's not your deal.
That's a practical way to use second conditionals too. If the price goes below X, I will buy it.
And, if it doesn't, I will walk away, which is surprisingly powerful and very good for self-control emotionally.
Listener, could you imagine doing that? Planning a price in advance and actually walking away if it isn't met?
You might write, if I followed Lisa's advice, I would probably, and finish with save money, feel calmer, or buy less.
Let's talk about rip-offs again. Sometimes people think they got a steal, but later realize they were completely ripped off.
Right. Maybe the product breaks quickly, or you find the same item cheaper elsewhere the next day.
That painful feeling of regret can be worse than paying full price quietly on a normal, less chaotic day.
So maybe a rule could be, if I wouldn't celebrate this purchase tomorrow, it's not a real bargain today.
I love that. A true bargain still feels good after the excitement fades. A fake one feels embarrassing afterwards.
Listener, think of a time you were proud of a bargain and a time you regretted a deal. What was different?
You might comment, my best bargain was, and my worst Black Friday ripoff was, and describe both experiences in English.
Notice how vocabulary like bargain, steal, and ripoff can express strong emotions about price and value in just one word.
For example, that phone was a steal sounds joyful, while that tour was a ripoff sounds frustrated and disappointed.
Let's add one more comparative. A planned bargain is better value than 10 random discounts on things you don't truly need.
Exactly. More discounts don't always mean more happiness. Sometimes they mean more clutter, guilt, and wasted money.
From my perspective, the smartest Black Friday strategy is boring. Plan, compare, and ignore most of the shiny noise.
From my emotional perspective, I want everything. But I know I'll feel better if I choose carefully instead.
That's the balance. You can still enjoy sales, but with awareness, not blind trust in every discount sign.
Lisa, if you could give learners one sentence to remember about Black Friday, what would it be?
If you wouldn't buy it at full price, think twice before calling it a bargain at half price.
That sentence needs to be printed on every shopping bag in the world, in giant neon letters, honestly?
Listener, maybe write that line in your notebook. It's great English and great life advice combined beautifully.
Lisa, thank you for helping us separate real bargains from clever marketing and dangerous ripoffs.
Thank you. I hope your listeners feel a little more confident and a little less controlled by sales hype.
So far, we've talked about prices and tricks, but we haven't fully explored emotions behind shopping yet.
Next, we'll dive into impulse buying, happiness, guilt, and why some people feel empty after huge Black Friday hauls.
We'll invite a psychologist to help us understand why add to cart sometimes feels like pressing an emotional button.
Stay with us, because the next section might change how you see your own shopping habits forever.
So, we've talked about prices and tricks. Now let's look inside our brains and emotions honestly.
Yeah, because Black Friday isn't only about numbers. It's about temptation, excitement, guilt, and sometimes strange emotional emptiness.
To explore that, we've invited Marco, a psychologist who studies why people buy things they don't really need.
Marco, welcome to English Podcast for Listening and Speaking. I'm slightly nervous you'll analyze my entire shopping history.
Aha, thanks for having me. Don't worry, Emily, I analyze patterns, not individual shoe collections or secret online carts.
Let's start simple. On Black Friday, why do people buy what you called any old rubbish just because it's discounted?
Big sales create a powerful cocktail of excitement, fear of missing out, social pressure, and very clever marketing messages.
So our brain hears sale and suddenly thinks, if I don't buy this now, I'll regret it forever.
Exactly. That fear of missing out can push people to act impulsively without thinking about long-term usefulness or value.
Let's define impulsive. An impulsive purchase is one you make quickly, without planning, mostly driven by immediate emotion.
Like seeing a discounted waffle maker and deciding your entire personality now depends on owning that waffle maker immediately.
Yes, and later you realize you barely eat waffles and the machine just gathers dust plus a little quiet guilt.
That's where regret appears. Regret is the uncomfortable feeling that you made a bad decision and wish you hadn't.
I know that feeling too well. The package arrives, excitement fades, and regret gently taps your shoulder like, hi.
Shopping can create a short burst of satisfaction, almost like a psychological high, but it often fades very quickly.
So we might say shopping might make you feel briefly better, but sometimes worse later when bills arrive unpleasantly.
Listener, have you ever felt that tiny high when buying something, then felt heavy regret afterwards looking at receipts?
You could comment, shopping makes me feel, but afterwards I often feel, and describe your emotional roller coaster honestly.
Our brains love rewards. Discounts feel like we won a game, especially when we think we got a bargain.
Even if, logically, we didn't need the item, emotionally it feels like victory. I beat the price system today.
But sometimes the system quietly beats us. We end up with clutter, credit card debt, and less satisfaction overall.
That's where self-control comes, and the ability to pause, think, and ask, will this actually improve my life?
So here's a useful sentence. If I paused before buying, I would probably avoid many impulsive purchases honestly.
Another one. If I only bought things I truly needed, I might feel lighter, richer, and less stressed.
Exactly. Second conditionals help you imagine a different version of yourself with different habits and emotional outcomes.
Let's talk about crowds again. How do crowded stores influence our decisions and emotions on big sale days?
Crowds create excitement and urgency. When everyone is grabbing things, your brain thinks, these items must be valuable.
Even if they're random gadgets. Social proof says, if everyone wants this, maybe I should want it too.
So a crowded shop doesn't only become noisy, it becomes emotionally louder inside our heads, shouting, buy, buy, buy.
Exactly. The atmosphere makes self-control harder. It's easier to be rational alone than inside a buzzing, crowded environment.
Listener, do you usually feel more rational shopping alone at home or in a crowded mall with loud music?
You might write, I make better decisions when shopping, and choose online, alone with friends, or totally not during sales.
Another emotional factor is guilt. Some people feel guilty when they don't buy something, especially after a long search.
That's so interesting. You invest time, walk through crowds, then feel guilty, leaving with empty hands somehow.
We call that sunk cost thinking. You feel you must buy something to justify your time and effort.
So, here's a second conditional. If I believed I could leave without buying, I would feel much freer.
And if I remembered that saying no is allowed, I might escape a lot of unnecessary financial stress.
Exactly. Saying no is a powerful skill, especially during noisy, high-pressure sales like Black Friday and Cyber Monday.
Let's introduce another concept, minimalism. The idea of owning fewer things and focusing on what truly adds value.
Minimalism fights consumerism, which is the culture of always wanting more, believing happiness lives inside new purchases.
Many people discover that buying less but more intentionally actually increases their satisfaction and reduces regret significantly.
We could say, minimalism is sometimes more satisfying than extreme consumerism, even if it looks less exciting on Instagram.
Haha, exactly. A calm, uncluttered room might be more beautiful than a mountain of dusty bargains nobody uses.
Listener, do you think having more stuff usually makes you happier, or can less stuff sometimes feel more peaceful?
You might comment, for me, owning more things makes me feel, but owning less makes me feel, and explore those differences.
Marco, does shopping ever genuinely help mental health, or is it mostly a temporary distraction from deeper problems?
It can give short comfort, but if someone relies on shopping for happiness, deeper needs probably aren't being addressed.
So maybe a small treat occasionally is fine, but constant emotional shopping can become unhealthy and financially dangerous.
That's a good place for modals. People should notice when shopping becomes their main way to escape difficult feelings.
And they might need other strategies, talking to friends, exercising, journaling, instead of just buying more discounted items.
Listener, can you think of one non-shopping activity that makes you feel happy or calm without costing much money?
You could write, instead of shopping, I could, and add walk, read, call a friend, or cuddle pets warmly.
One more emotional trap is comparing ourselves with others. Seeing Black Friday hauls online makes people feel they're missing out.
That's the pressure of social media, perfect photos of bargains, without showing the credit card bill afterwards, obviously.
We judge our lives compared to someone's highlight reel, then try to fix feelings with more purchases and packages.
Exactly. But real contentment rarely comes from one more box. It comes from meaningful relationships and realistic expectations. So,
A useful sentence. If I stopped comparing my shopping to others, I would probably feel more peaceful and confident.
And another, if I focused on gratitude instead of discounts, I might feel less pressure to buy random rubbish.
gratitude and conscious spending together create healthier habits than constant chasing of bargains and temporary emotional highs.
Listener, honestly, does shopping usually make you happy, stressed, guilty, or a mixture of all three emotions combined?
You might comment, shopping makes me happy because, or shopping makes me stressed because, and explain in detail.
The key is awareness. You don't need to reject all sales. You just need to understand your own emotional triggers.
From my perspective, good English learners also become good thinkers about money and feelings. Language and life connect.
From my heart, I want you to enjoy buying things sometimes, but not let discounts secretly control your happiness.
Exactly. Real freedom is being able to say yes or no based on values, not just bright red sale signs.
Marco, thank you for showing us that impulse buying isn't just about money, it's about emotions, identity, and pressure.
Thank you. I hope listeners start noticing their patterns and feel empowered to change them gently, step by step.
So far, we've explored crowds, bargains, rip-offs, and emotional shopping highs and lows around Black Friday.
Next, we'll zoom out and ask a bigger cultural question. Does Black Friday undermine the spirit of Thanksgiving completely?
We'll talk about gratitude, consumerism, and whether thank you and I want more can truly live side by side.
So, Emily, let's zoom out and connect Black Friday with the holiday that comes just before it.
Yeah, Thanksgiving, the day when people say, I'm grateful for everything I already have in my life.
Then the very next morning, some of those same grateful people fight crowds for discounted televisions and air fryers.
That emotional whiplash honestly fascinates me. Gratitude on Thursday, then grab everything now energy on Friday?
Discussion question 8 asks whether Black Friday undermines the themes of Thanksgiving, which focus on gratitude and appreciation.
From my perspective, it partly does. The message changes overnight from enough to not enough, buy more quickly.
I'd argue it depends on how consciously people shop. Thoughtful buying can coexist with gratitude. Mindless buying clashes strongly.
Right. If you're grateful and still choose a planned bargain, that feels different from panicking through crowded malls.
Let's imagine a typical American week. On Thursday, big family meal, gratitude speeches, maybe emotional hugs around the table.
On Friday, alarms at 4 a.m., coffee in the car, racing to join crowds outside giant shopping centers.
Listener, does that contrast sound inspiring, funny, sad, or just realistic to you? What's your honest first reaction?
You might comment, for me, Thanksgiving and Black Friday together feel, and then choose hypocritical, balanced, or confusing.
Here's a useful comparative sentence. Gratitude is more sustainable than shopping, but shopping often feels more exciting temporarily.
Another one. Black Friday is louder and more dramatic than Thanksgiving, but Thanksgiving is deeper emotionally and spiritually.
Thanksgiving encourages people to notice what they already have. Black Friday encourages people to notice everything they lack.
That sentence hurts a bit because it's true. One day fills your heart, the next day empties your wallet.
Here's a useful comparative sentence. Black Friday is more exciting but less meaningful than a quiet Thanksgiving dinner.
And another. Giving thanks is more powerful for happiness than getting one more discounted gadget on Friday.
Now let's introduce an important word. Consumerism. The culture that says buying more will finally make you feel complete.
Consumerism whispers, you are what you own, while gratitude whispers, you are who you love and appreciate.
From my perspective, consumerism is strongest on Black Friday. When every message screams, more, 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 you must upgrade.
But gratitude is quieter. It says, actually, what you already have might be enough to feel content.
Listener, which voice feels louder in your life right now, the consumerist voice or the quiet gratitude voice?
You could comment, at the moment, consumerism feels louder because, or gratitude feels stronger because, and reflect honestly.
Let's use a second conditional here. If people focused more on gratitude, Black Friday might feel less intense and desperate.
Another one. If Black Friday deals were simpler and fairer, they would feel less hypocritical next to Thanksgiving's message.
That word hypocritical describes behavior that doesn't match your values, like giving thanks then pushing strangers for discounts.
It's a strong word, but sometimes accurate when people behave aggressively right after saying how blessed they already feel.
Have you ever watched a Black Friday video and thought, wait, didn't these people say thank you yesterday?
I definitely have. Part of me laughs nervously. Another part feels sad and a little uncomfortable, honestly.
Listener, have you had that moment where a sale suddenly made you question your values instead of just your budget?
You might comment, I realized my values were changing when, and share a story about shopping or gratitude.
Let's imagine a more balanced scenario. A family lists needed items before Thanksgiving, then buys only those on Black Friday.
That feels different. It's like saying, we're grateful, and we'll use sales wisely, not blindly, which sounds healthier.
Another second conditional. If more people planned like that, Black Friday would become more rational and less chaotic.
And if shops encouraged thoughtful buying instead of pure frenzy, the event might feel less aggressive and more responsible.
Maybe that's the key question. Is Black Friday controlling us, or are we controlling how we use Black Friday?
Listener, how would you answer that about yourself? Do you feel in control or pushed around by advertising and crowds?
You might write, usually I control my shopping, but on big sales days and finish honestly.
Let's add a couple of opinion sentences you can borrow in debates or writing about this topic.
From my perspective, Black Friday can coexist with Thanksgiving if people shop intentionally instead of automatically.
To be honest, I think extreme Black Friday behavior completely undermines the spirit of gratitude and reflection.
We can also bring in the environment. More stuff often means more waste, packaging, and resources used for short-term satisfaction.
True. If you buy random rubbish that breaks quickly, you're not only hurting your wallet, but also the planet.
So, a second conditional. If we bought fewer useless items, landfills would be smaller, and our rooms probably tidier.
I love that. Smaller landfills, tidier rooms, lighter hearts. That sounds better than mountains of dusty, unused bargains.
Listener, does Black Friday exist in another form in your culture, maybe tied to payday?
You could comment, in my culture, the big shopping day is, and explain if values clash.
Before we finish this section, let's compare the emotional impact of both days directly in natural sentences.
Thanksgiving is calmer and more reflective, while Black Friday is noisier, more crowded, and often more stressful emotionally.
Gratitude feels softer but longer lasting. Shopping feels louder but often disappears quickly after the excitement ends.
For me, the real question isn't, is Black Friday evil? But, does it still fit my values?
And that's something only you can answer honestly, based on your habits, feelings, and long-term priorities.
In our final section, we'll move from theory to action, how you can become a smarter, more conscious shopper.
We'll turn vocabulary and grammar into practical strategies, plus a few viral sentences you can share with friends.
Stay with us. and quietly decide one small change you might make before the next big sale season arrives.
Okay, Emily, final stretch. We've explored crowds, bargains, emotions, and gratitude. Now let's talk practical strategies.
Yes! Let's help our listeners walk into the next sale season with stronger English and stronger self-control.
First, let's recycle some key vocabulary naturally. Sale, discount, bargain, steal, rip-off, crowds, and crowded.
Imagine you tell a friend, "There's a big sale this weekend, but the mall will be extremely crowded."
You might add, "I'm hoping to find a real bargain, not just tiny discounts disguised as amazing offers."
Or, "That laptop last year was a total steal. This one feels more like a rip-off, honestly."
Notice how those words express both price and emotion. Bargain and steal feel joyful. Rip-off feels angry or disappointed.
Listener, you could write one sentence with bargain, another with rip-off, and compare the feelings in each sentence.
Now, let's combine vocabulary with second conditionals to create powerful, practical thoughts about your own shopping habits.
For example, if I made a list before the sale, I would avoid buying discounted rubbish I don't need.
Another one. If I set a strict budget, I might feel safer and less guilty after Black Friday ends.
If I waited 24 hours before clicking buy, I would probably cancel many impulsive purchases.
These sentences help you imagine a wiser version of yourself and slowly move closer to that behavior.
Let's also use modal verbs for advice. You should research prices before Black Friday starts. Simple, clear, and practical.
You could decide one category to focus on, like replacing a phone, instead of buying everything discounted.
You might choose experiences instead of objects. For example, a trip or course instead of 3 random gadgets.
Shops must be more transparent about discounts, is a strong opinion sentence you can use in discussions or exams.
Listener, which of these feels most useful for you personally? Lists, budgets, waiting, or choosing experiences over things?
You might comment, "For me, the most helpful strategy is," and explain why in a short paragraph.
Let's role-play a short conversation between two friends planning Black Friday in a smart way using our vocabulary.
Friend 1 says, "There's a huge sale tomorrow, but crowds make me nervous, and I hate feeling pushed around."
Friend 2 answers, "Same here. If we go, we should go early, with a list, then leave quickly."
Friend 1 replies, "Yeah, otherwise we'll end up buying rubbish. Last year's bargain toaster was such a rip-off."
Friend 2 laughs, "Exactly. We might even stay home and check a few quiet online discounts instead."
That tiny dialogue shows opinion starters, modals, second conditionals, plus bargain and rip-off in real-life context.
Listener, could you write your own mini dialogue in the comments, using at least 3 of today's Black Friday words?
Okay, now let's think about identity. What kind of shopper do you want to be in the future?
You might say, "I want to be the kind of shopper who thinks before buying and feels proud afterwards."
Or, "I'd like to be someone who enjoys bargains, but doesn't let advertising control my choices or happiness."
Second conditional, again, "If I changed my shopping habits, my finances and mental health would probably improve noticeably."
If I spoke honestly with friends about money, we might stop pressuring each other to buy unnecessary stuff.
Let's make some memorable lines listeners can share on social media or with their study groups.
Here's one. "If you wouldn't buy it at full price, maybe it's not a real bargain at half price."
Another, "Sometimes the biggest steal on Black Friday is your time, attention, and peace of mind."
And this one. "The best discount might be paying 0 for something you never needed in the first place."
I love that line. It's witty, a little painful, and perfect for practicing conditionals and critical thinking.
Listener, which viral sentence do you like most? You could share it in the comments and explain why.
Earlier, we talked about consumerism and gratitude. Let's connect that again with a few more comparatives and modals.
Gratitude is cheaper and more sustainable than constant shopping, but shopping often feels louder and more glamorous.
Minimalism can be more satisfying than consumerism, especially when your space finally feels calm instead of crowded.
Experience gifts could be more memorable than discounts on objects that end up forgotten in a cupboard.
Notice those could and can words. They show possibility these ideas might be true, but they aren't automatic.
Listener, you might write, "For me, experiences are more or less satisfying than objects because," and expand your thought.
Let's also thank our vocabulary explicitly, because each word today helps you speak about money and values more clearly.
sale, discount, bargain, steal, rip-off, crowded, consumerism, impulse, regret, gratitude, minimalism, powerful tools for deep conversations.
And the grammar tools, opinion starters, modal verbs, second conditionals, comparatives, all living inside natural spoken sentences.
From my perspective, real fluency appears when you can discuss topics like Black Friday without sounding like a textbook.
To be honest, I feel proud of our listeners. They're not only learning words, they're questioning habits and culture.
Before we close, let's give one final practical checklist entirely in spoken-style sentences, not bullet points.
First, ask yourself, do I really need this, or am I just bored, stressed, or trying to impress someone?
Second, say, if I wait until tomorrow, will I still want this, or will the feeling disappear overnight?
Third, tell yourself, if this price feels good, I should check whether it's a discount or clever marketing.
Fourth, remember, if I choose not to buy, I might actually feel lighter and more in control afterwards. Okay, time to wrap up our journey through Black Friday sales, crowds, emotions, gratitude, and smarter shopping choices.
Thank you for listening to English Podcast for Listening and Speaking. You're part of a growing global learner community.
If this episode helped you, please like the video, subscribe, and share it with another English learner or friend.
Your likes, shares, and comments really matter. They help YouTube show this podcast to more people who need practice.
In the comments, try writing one sentence with bargain, one with rip-off, and 1 second conditional about shopping.
And maybe answer this. If I changed one habit before Black Friday, my life would feel different because...
From my perspective, smart shopping isn't about never buying. It's about choosing purchases that truly match your values.
And emotionally, I believe you deserve more than a pile of discounted objects. You deserve calm, clarity, and confidence.
Thanks again for spending this time with us. We hope you feel more fluent and more thoughtful about money.
Take care, shop wisely, speak bravely, and we'll see you in the next English Listening and Speaking episode.